So tell me what you were talking about the Twitter almost being like a small town, recreating that small town feel for a business. How did you come across that theory?
Well, I'm from a small town. I live in a small town. I do business in a small town. So that's the background that I bring to it. So of course I look at the world through that lens. So it's natural for me to make that assumption that the whole world is a small town. It kind of comes into focus as I hear people giving advice of how to succeed online, how to build community, how to relate to people, and I go, that's what we do. So it seems very natural.
Yeah. Well, in some of the things that you were talking about, you can have a bad customer service experience and all of a sudden everybody knows. Do you have a personal example yourself, or?
I don't know if I should tell a story on myself, but a personal example. I do know that word gets around. In a small town, word definitely gets around, and so in fact, recently, my mom came and gave me a report on how my store was doing. So it's not quite a secret shopper when it's your own mother, but you find out, and word just spreads through town. There's a line in the movie The Sons of Katie Elder where the guy says, well, we don't have a newspaper, but we do have a gossip about every 20 feet. And I think that's the small town world that we're all used to living in.
And everybody's almost their own town crier at that point. So,
and that translates directly to online. Everybody's got in their pocket the press that they connect to the whole world. They connect, they tell their stories. And so if any big company burns one customer, then they end up with somebody writing a song about how United broke my guitar, and these things just happen and they spread in a way that the big cities haven't seen in a long time.
So what made you decide to start participating on the web? I mean, for yourself.
How I got started in the interactive kind of world is that when I started my liquor store, when I bought the liquor store from my mom, I had a lot more time on my hands than I had in my previous job, which was like a 50, 60-hour-a-week kind of job. Mm-hmm. And then I found out that, there are times at the liquor store when it's really not that busy, and I had time. So I started a blog. I was still getting a lot of economic development news because my previous job was as a small-town city manager. Okay. So I got economic development newsletters and community development and ways to revitalize your town, and I thought it's a shame that this is dying in my inbox. So I started a blog and started sharing those things online. I had been emailing them to like a dozen friends, and I thought those are the 12 people that'll read my blog, are these 12 people. And right now we have, I don't know, something around 3,000 subscribers, so obviously more than 12 people are interested in small town business issues, but it's just kind of a neat way to share things. And then that was in early 2006, I met some guy that had like 50 readers for his blog, and I had like, my little 12 people, and I thought, he knows more than I do, I'll follow him. And he invited me onto this new service called Twitter later in the year, and he turns out to be like Chris Brogan now is his name, but at the time he was just Chris Brogan. So it was good to connect with someone else that was developing and growing at the same time. Mm-hmm. That's how you make connections in the world, is you just find people that are your colleagues that are a step ahead of you, and you follow them as they go through the progression. And that is how I've been kind of drugged through the whole world of interactive and online.
So what made you decide to bring this story to the 140 Characters Conference into Detroit specifically?
Why not? Because of my background in economic and community development, Detroit is the most compelling story right now. And so I was excited to see that Jeff had scheduled a 140 here. I got involved with the first 140 in New York. I attended that one. I put together a panel that went to a later one in London, and so I've been a follower of the 140 conferences already. I chose to come to this one in Detroit because I felt like the issues that are being discussed here are so key and so central to things that are important to me in economic development, community development, people, and how our individual, normal, everyday people getting involved in the issues of what do we do with our community. Mm-hmm. I think that's the compelling story. And that's the same reason that Jeff and I are doing a small town 140 in Hutchinson, Kansas, November 1st, is to talk about those issues from a small town perspective. And the response has been overwhelming. I'm excited to see how many people are here for Detroit and the variety of voices that are being heard here today.